Hello and welcome to Music with Mason. My name is Mason Fall. I'm here joined with the rock band from Eastern Iowa. We've got Maaaze. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah, excited to be on the show.
Nice sunny day.
Oh, yeah. So, Maaaze will soon be playing at Gabe's alongside Lou Sherry, Dizzy Bridges, and Dirty Grounds, and they also recently released their single Wisdom Tooth, which I personally really like. So, just to get started here, guys, how did each of you get into music, and how did you know this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I guess I can go first. There were some instruments around the house as a kid, and I was just drawn to them. And before I had any lessons or formal training, I was making sounds. So I think it's just something from an early age I was drawn to. And then eventually, I think my parents were like, "Yeah, you should have lessons." So.
Yeah, and this is Lars here. I play bass. I remember around maybe fifth grade, I started getting into that was when the new metal movement was happening. So I got really into this band, excuse me, called POD. If anybody's ever heard of them, they're kind of a big Christian new metal band. I really like that music. So I just started trying to find other bands like that. Then eventually I got so into it, I was like, I really want to play guitar. My uncle, when I was a little kid, played guitar, and that was really cool. And all of a sudden I was hearing these bands that really spoke to me at that time in my life. And I picked up the acoustic guitar. Then I begged my parents for an electric guitar because I was convinced that would be the ticket to real rocking. And I was halfway right because I loved playing the electric guitar. But yeah, around fifth grade, I guess. Yeah, new metal.
Yeah, this is Patrick. Play the drums in Maaaze. And I would say really it just comes from the household, family. Your mom was a singer-songwriter, so she always had a guitar around in the living room, piano in the living room. I think when I was in fifth grade, my older brother got a drum set, old black pearl 5-piece. We had that in his bedroom, and ever since then I was drawn to that instrument, I guess. And playing drumline in high school, and meeting Dan and Lars, just playing music with them. And now we're here.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's just how everyone finds their start. It's just right in the family.
Totally.
So. For each of you, I already know that Lars mentioned that he got into new metal, but for the other two, are there any other bands that really inspired you to get into rock and roll?
For me, it was Kiss. That was the first concert I went to. I was actually, I think I was 5 or 6 years old, and it was the Psycho Circus tour in 1998. At what the time was the Five Seasons Center in Cedar Rapids. And so that was my first big rock show. And I had seen videos of Kiss and the makeup and the fire as a kid. How are you not going to think that's really cool? So yeah, and then seeing that concert was just this is cool.
Yeah. And no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, for me, it was, I remember one day in the living room, my dad and my brother were watching some live, maybe it's The Song Remains the Same from Led Zeppelin, their live performance DVD or something. I just remember seeing this stuff well, this is nuts. And of course, John Bonham on drums. I think that was just huge influence for me in middle school in terms of rock and roll. The Who, Queen, huge just classic rock fan in that era of my life.
Yeah. And I was gonna say too, I've known Dan since sixth grade. I met Dan pretty much right away, like, you know, in middle school, and it's actually Dan kind of put me on to a lot of stuff. Like, I think he gave me like Toxicity by System of a Down. We bonded over that, and then it was through kind of like him that I had always known of like Led Zeppelin and The Who and all those bands. It was kind of through him that I kind of got exposed to the more like classic rock canon and got really into that. So
Oh yeah.
kind of had him to thank for that, for putting me onto some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Harding Middle School, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Go Chargers, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. You know, Toxicity is like one of the best albums System of a Down ever made, and like that's how I got into them at a really young age.
I
Oh,
still love that album, dude. I think it's really good.
It's an all-time classic, man, and it's not even 50 years old yet. So, yeah,
That's true.
I still think
It's really
I still think they can do it again. I'm still pretty sure they're still fresh.
Yeah. It's funny to me because I feel like new metal is having a resurgence now. Like, I'm not super in touch with the next generation, but from what I hear, like Deftones is all over TikTok, and like it's interesting to me, you know, like
The Jinko jeans are back, dude.
yeah, because I think like by the time it was like mid 2000s, late 2010, that music was just so like no one was even thinking
It was
about
kind of a joke, yeah.
And then like now it's kind of it's growing again.
I know, yeah. But it's weird. It's like when you listen to those songs on TikTok, like you have to think, like, are these guys artificial fans? Like they don't even know who these guys are. They're just using their music for it. But like for sure, like they're getting more attention again, which is pretty cool.
It is cool. Like that was kind of like the last kind of big movement of like a huge like shift in like what rock and roll music was. And I don't know if there's been like a huge mainstream shift like that. Like I was listening to some guys on a podcast talk about Korn being kind of like the last big rock band that like got pushed really heavily on MTV, and like we kind of forget how massive that era of music was, kind of inescapable. And it certainly like I got tangled up in it. And that was definitely kind of my introduction to like heavier music.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm so glad Korn at least got its attention on MTV, because MTV is starting to go downhill from here. It's all the same stuff.
Started, but,
It's like I think it's pretty much like 90% ridiculousness at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's that or Fail Army, and I don't even know which one is better.
Yeah.
So we're going back into the band's history. Did you guys go under the name Doc Miller?
Yep. And then, so, I think it was after college, Pat and I reconnected.
Probably around
started jamming.
2015.
Yeah.
2014, 15 maybe.
And actually, there was Maaaze with Maaaze. We played a few shows.
Maybe one or two shows under that.
Yeah. And then that group kind of split a little bit, and then it was kind of me and Pat, and Lars at the time was rapping as Rad Rascal. And so we were kind of like a dual bill where it was half Doc Miller rock songs, and then we play like Rad Rascal, Beastie Boys, kind of hip hop.
That was a lot of fun.
So yeah, I remember because me and Dan, we were really tight in middle school, kind of like did our own thing in high school, and then I don't know what was the impetus for us to hit each other up, because I figured out you were recording music again, and you had this song on SoundCloud that I really liked. And Pale Ale was on SoundCloud, and I kind of heard that you hadn't like replaced the bassist role, and I was like, I really want to play with a band, and I hadn't done that in a few years, and kind of missing it. And then we got together there, and at the time we were doing like live hip hop stuff alongside with what was Doc Miller at the time. Those are pretty much all the Doc Miller stuff was pretty much all Dan as like the principal songwriter. You know, he'd come with his songs and show us that stuff, and we eventually kind of had more group input. And I think it was after COVID that we kind of rebranded as Maaaze, or maybe right before COVID happened. I can't recall anymore, but
So my question is, why the name Maaaze and why 3 A's?
A great question. I remember we were like trying to think, dude, coming up with a band name is hard.
Yeah.
Because they all sound cool and they all sound really stupid. but like we were just brainstorming. I remember thinking that the name Maze with as in like the term for corn. I thought that was kind of a cool name, and one word names are kind of sweet, and I think we all kind of agree we can go back to that. The 3 A's. I mean,
there's 3 members, so there you go.
There's 3 members.
3 members. We all do have an A in the middle of our name, more or less.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It helps out with the search engine optimization too, because there's a couple Maze with like 2 A's, and so yeah.
Hopefully,
set ourselves apart from that.
It's a great R&B band called Maze, the normal Maze spelling.
It'd be disrespectful to try to claim that from those.
Right.
It's funny. I don't know how it works with band names, because like Nirvana was a band before Nirvana, and like somehow Nirvana got to keep the name. I don't know if they had to pay the band or what. And then I know I've worked with a band called The Strangers, and there's like apparently that's like an open domain name. So there's like there's like 500 bands called The Strangers. It's just like what's the name?
Right. I mean, it's definitely like it sticks out there. It's a normal Maze name, and then just the 3 A's give it its own little like touch on it, like its own unique spin. So
yeah,
a little odd.
I want to say it along with like 3 members. It also like we like to lie heavily into the psych rock. So I think of like the Maze as like a trippy repeating, or
like
the 3 A's.
Motion tracer.
Yeah.
It's like the ghost effect of the A. And
it's like you gotta say it with some reverb.
Yeah.
Your boy Maze.
Yeah. I was like, do you think like when you guys get introduced at concerts and stuff, do they go like Maze or do they just go Maze?
Sometimes, they have fun.
I feel like people
we kind of lean into that.
You
can't avoid it.
I feel like we like to see what the next announcer will come up with, or how they'll.
It's got a fun ring to it, It's like when you're introducing like a wrestler, like you got to go a little more dramatic into the name and not just it's Maze.
Yeah,
you got to go Maze.
The SNL announcer.
Don,
Maze.
Yeah,
he's a cool guy. Yeah.
So, in the past, when I was looking through the Facebook profile, you guys actually got to visit KRUI Studios.
Yeah.
In Iowa City. So why did you visit KRUI?
So my friend Max at the time took over a radio show called Local Tunes, and that was just kind of I think it had ran for like a decade in Iowa City. And then Max took it over and was looking for people to have on the show. So yeah, we had to haul all of our gear, like the most inconvenient, like maze of hallways to get to the studio. And
it was cold that night too.
Yeah,
it was pretty cold.
Yeah, but it was fun. Like it was live on air. I think there's a SoundCloud audio somewhere. Yep.
Right on.
It's no KXP, but
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'd like to do that again sometime. That's cool.
Yeah, I think we were just playing into like the radio talk mic.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't anything like mic'd up and stuff, but
pretty raw.
Yeah, really cool. So, what can you tell me about Analog Vault Records?
So that is a record store in Cedar Rapids, and we. So I used to work at a venue there called CSPS Hall, and Jeremy Vega kind of runs that. And it's like growing up in Cedar Rapids, there was never a cool record store.
Yeah,
or much of cool anything.
Yeah, it's lame in terms of that.
But the past 10 years, Cedar Rapids has gotten pretty cool, and I think the Analog Vault is a huge part of that. Having this community of music appreciators, being fostered with a record store and physical space.
Well, I know Jeremy also set up a couple, at least one gig for us, in the Black Box Theater in that same building.
Yep.
It's kind of sponsored by Analog Vault, and
helped promote shows.
He's really supportive. Like he's a really cool guy.
Yeah. we don't have a lot of record stores in Fort Dodge, and back in my hometown, we had to go across the bridge to Illinois to go to a record store if we wanted to get like an actual vinyl. So it's cool that you guys got one down in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, and it's it's new and used, just all a really nice selection. So
did they happen to sell incense for when you smoke weed?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure every record store does that these days, regardless of what genre they sell. But
Lars and I's favorite record store is probably Electric Fetus up in Minneapolis, and that one's definitely kind of tied to the culture.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like one of your like simplicit concerts that you did, but you advertised a 319 festival where you told everyone that if they had a 319 phone number to come on down to the festival. What area code is that?
I believe it's all like most of eastern Iowa, like Waterloo through Iowa City, like all up and down.
Lots of Woodland County area.
So
that's another cool. Yeah. That was like the original 319 Fest was kind of like the local music fest in Iowa City or Cedar Rapids. And I think now it's kind of evolved, and there's the Iowa Pop Art Festival.
But yeah, for sure. Do you remember like that festival like specifically? Like what was there anything unique about it compared to the other venues you've gone to?
I mean, I think that was one of the first times we played outdoors.
Yeah.
And kind of on like, a festival lineup, we're having to coordinate and haul in at a certain time. So that's kind of a new experience, and where I learned how fun playing outside is. It's kind of the best. We've gone it a couple times.
Much different than, in a dark bar corner or whatever. But yeah, being able to be outside, and there's lots of different vendors right out front, kind of like you can see out of the stage. People are just walking by, going around downtown. That whole atmosphere for that festival was very fun, and it's a good time.
Yeah. So we're going into the segment where I've actually done some research on each of you guys, and I have a question for each of you, and I don't know if
oh no, yeah.
So I hope you won't be disappointed or like a little worried if this is like really too like specific.
Hardware thing.
I mean, so starting off with Dan, I noticed in your Facebook profile you left a very a very rash comment on somewhere called Newbo Market. And did you get into a little bit of a confrontation with some guy? I won't say his name.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. It was a really bad experience trying to get some food, some Mexican food.
Wait, what?
And there's all this hot sauce and chips and stuff, and the dude yelled at me for I guess it was for samples, I couldn't use it on my taco, and he got really weird about it. It's I would have just bought hot sauce, I just want some hot sauce, and he treated me like I was stealing from him. So I think maybe it was just a misunderstanding, but that was
it really ruined your day, didn't it?
It did. I was just
did you leave a review on Facebook or?
Yeah.
Give the man some hot sauce already. Come on.
Yeah. It was silly. It's the mundane things of daily life. But that's a good. Yeah, that was very Nardwar.
That was very.
So
no, I'm kind of nervous, dog.
So Lars,
yes.
Can you tell us about the time where you found a lost husky?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, for sure. I can definitely. So I live on kind of not a busy street, but I live in a main drag through town. House is right up on the sidewalk, and I feel like I've seen kind of a lot of weird stuff on that street over the years. And one of them was I think I was probably having a cigarette outside, and what do I see walking down the street? It's this big white husky all by itself. There's nobody else around. It was a beautiful dog, and you can tell it's a little freaked out. And I do my best to kind of corral it into this little corner by my house. And I have a dog, so I went and had my partner grab the leash. And so we got this dog, chained up to the leash, and we're just like looking around for anybody to come, calling out for this dog. Finally, some lady was just walking by, and I think she could kind of see that we were, a little concerned or confused, and she asked what's going on. We explained the situation, and shout out to her. She was like, I think I might know who this dog is. And I think she had like a friend who, volunteered at an animal shelter. So she kind of knew a couple things about that place. And she's like, I'll just, take the dog to the shelter and hopefully it's chipped. And she walked away. The weird thing about this story is, I don't know if this is just like a random coincidence, but I feel like it can't be. A couple weeks later, sitting like next to our house was an unopened, brand new Monopoly box that was like dog and cat themed, sitting next to my house. There's no explanation, no note. It was like a couple weeks after that. It was just baffling to me. And I still have it. I have not played it. I kind of hate Monopoly, but to this day, it's kind of a mystery why this like board game just like showed up on my front step. But yeah, that's a husky story, man. That's a deep pull.
That's crazy, man. Have you ever, did you ever get updated on if they found the owner or not?
No, I never. I would assume so. It was like a well taken care of dog, so somebody's definitely out there looking for it. And
right.
I'm sure the shelter probably reached out to the community, so I'm sure that dog got found. I'm just glad I was there to kind of, I'm not the hero or nothing, but I was glad
you found
tried
it.
To help it out.
You found it before someone else took it away, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's not. I will spare you the story. So that is not the first dog I've had to catch in our neighborhood for just a random person I didn't know, but it's all good. I saw a deer walking down the street too once, like a 6-point buck in the middle of the day. Swear to God. But,
very strange street you live on, man. I'm just saying. So, Patrick, this is a very random question to ask you, but are you a fan of the Cedar Rapids Inferno football team?
Cedar Rapids Inferno football team. Yeah.
So, what is the significance about it? Because you post a little bit about it on your Facebook page.
Oh, I think it was started. It's a soccer club started by one of my buddies, and I wasn't very heavily involved, but I grew up playing soccer. I played soccer in college, and I would just go out to a few practices and kind of support the team. I know that I think they just play an outdoor season, and I'm not sure. I believe they're still around, still playing. I haven't talked to the guy in a while, so I don't know. But yeah, I love soccer. It's probably my favorite sport, best sport in the world.
There's a deep cut somewhere of a bicycle kick.
I was gonna say Pat's not gonna brag about this, but I remember I wasn't friends with Pat in high school, but I definitely knew who he was, and he kicked a bicycle kick for a goal, right? In high school.
Yeah, guys, I peaked in high school.
Dude, you got it. I would hold on to that story.
No, yeah.
And
good moment.
When you said you played in college, did you play at College, and did you study economics?
Yeah, that's right.
So what was it like just just playing at a college? It's not the biggest college, but it's D3, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that decision ultimately was it's what all my friends were doing. There are I went to Kennedy High School in Cedar Rapids, and a lot of my friends were on the team then, decided to commit to Co. I think it just made sense. Also, the coach there at Co was my club coach growing up, so I already knew the coach, and I thought that would be a great transition. I don't want to brag about Co soccer. We kind of sucked, and I know a lot of us as players throughout the 4 years kind of hold some grudges, and maybe we didn't perform as well as we'd like to, but it still was just a great time. I wouldn't go back and change my decision there.
Right.
We had a lot of fun.
You went from kicking soccer balls to kicking fans off the stage when they were trying to get too rowdy. So, I mean,
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
great skill to learn. So,
Right.
One of the things I think that's cool about both these guys that I always kind of admire about them is that to me they always seem pretty well rounded. Because Dan did football too, so he's like into sports, but he's also super gifted with music and just kind of art in general. And the same goes for Pat. I always think it's cool that they have a lot of diverse interests, and I always think that's kind of cool when somebody. No, for real. Like you guys, I think that's sweet. You're kind of multifaceted, and I think that was kind of cool about you guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I've had a few people on the show who have a football and soccer background, so baseball and golf and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good transition,
Mason, I wish I would have sent this to you. I found so in high school, Dan made this. It was like for a project for a class of his, and I found he made this like compilation CD of like musicians at our high school. And he compiled that together, and it was like a little project of his. And on that project, it has Dan doing a song. It's got like 3 songs by Pat, and then it has like probably my hip hop debut, which is on a song that on a beat that
and your
Dan
moniker
made.
then was
I was Elzilla.
Elzilla.
I think there might be a YouTube video up there if you want. For any curious people out there. I'm gonna go.
I'll have to do some research and put it in post. So if I find
Oh God, no.
But yeah, unfortunately here, guys, we are down to our final 4 questions of this interview. So
All right.
I'm excited, man. This has been fun.
To start it off, for each of you, if you could have one final meal before you pass away, what would it be?
Oh man, give me a second. Okay, I got one. So I live in Cedar Falls. There used to be this restaurant. It's called La Calle. La Calle was like a burger joint, but they had sort of like Latin America, South America inspired burgers, like, combinations of ingredients. But the thing that I loved about them was they had the best black bean. It was a homemade black bean burger, and they would put a bunch of delicious toppings on it. Best black bean burger. Love black bean burgers. And they also had delicious sweet potato fries. But the place, they still have a food truck. So you can occasionally still get some La Calle, but the restaurant closed down. It's my favorite restaurant in town. I would love to just be able to. That would probably be it. I'm a simple guy. I love black bean burgers, sweet potato fries.
Oh yeah.
Probably mine, man.
I'm gonna have to go with some. Oh yeah. I was gonna say pineapple fried rice. There's a Laotian restaurant in West Liberty.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I've never heard of that before. Now I'm excited.
Yeah.
Where
Pineapple
from?
fried rice. It's got like a little bit of curry powder, so it's got a little curriness to it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my
Okay.
go-to. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's got to be just like a Thanksgiving home cooked meal with all the fixings, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, turkey, all that.
Be a good way to go out.
And then probably finish with a slice of Zoe's pizza. I have to add that on.
I mean, it's your last meal, man. You might as well get stuff.
And I'm a big believer in variety is the spice of life, so I'd want a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. That sounds really good. So, you guys played at a couple of different venues, like different concerts, different festivals. Is there one that stands out that you guys really love to play at? Like your favorite one?
I remember one that I was pretty stoked about. This is going back a couple years. Well, first of all, I want to say I love playing at Gabe's. I think we can all kind of agree. It's kind of like our home base. Really great venue, cool people who work there. But a few years back, we did a outdoor gig for Iowa Brewing Company. They're releasing like a new type of beer, like an IPA. And to kind of celebrate the launch of it, we put together a gig. Dan did, I think, most of the heavy lifting on that, and just set it up outside, right by like the beer garden. It was a beautiful night, and like I said, playing outside is always a treat. And got to try brand new beer, and that was a really nice time.
I think the coolest weird show we played was the Cedar Falls skate park. That might have been at Doc Miller.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was. They have like an annual fundraiser for the skate park there, and a bunch of bands set up, and a bunch of people are skating, and yeah, it's a good time.
I don't know if it's the coolest or like the best, but I really miss two like physically underground places. One, the Vault in Cedar Rapids. We think maybe played a couple shows very, very early on there. I don't know if they're still around. And then the Yacht Club in Iowa City. I just like both those places had some really cool atmosphere, and they were like more clubby than
they're both basement
bars.
venues.
Yes, exactly.
So you like can't escape. You have to go up the stairs if you want to leave.
You're hauling your gear downstairs.
You're down there and you're in it. Yeah.
Like the Cavern Club or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something to the basement.
Those places.
Oh yeah. You know, I'm pretty sure it was Dizzy Bridges who mentioned this, but pretty sure didn't it turn into a comedy club now? The Yacht Club?
Club, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it was like an arcade bar and then comedy. Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta love them, you know. So for our second to last question, what is the future of Maaaze? Like, what are we gonna be seeing? Are we gonna be seeing another album release, more tour dates, another round of singles or merchandise? Like, what is it that we are gonna be seeing?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of all just been catching up with life this past few months, but I think we got a lot of new material we're working out. We're gonna debut some this Friday, and yeah, I think try to hit the studio, get some stuff out. It's hard to like try to do an album these days. I feel like with the whole streaming platform, it's almost like singles are prioritized. So yeah, there might be some singles and then an album.
Nice. What about merchandise? I noticed that some of your earlier posts, you guys showed off a lot of your green and pink like neon merchandise. Are those T-shirts still on sale by any chance?
Yeah.
The school and stuff. Right?
Yeah, we'll have to get your address. We'll send you one.
Oh please, I'll send you it right away. I'll send you it now actually. But
give a shout out.
Yeah.
Well,
again.
Liv. She's in a band called Daisy Glue and was in Honey Swell.
Mm-hmm. Very talented graphic artist, designing those.
Yeah.
It's really cool to work with.
Oh yeah, I mean those T-shirts, they just like pop out at you. So I would love to have my hands on one. But
yeah, really cool on black light.
But yeah. So for our final question, I've asked every single artist and band that I've had on the show this. For each of you, what would you tell the young and aspiring artists who really need that motivation and courage to go on stage and do what they love?
I got one. One thing that I've noticed over the years that I think is really important, what I would like, if I ever have a kid who wants to do music, I would tell them that it's really important to find a community. I think that's one of the things that Iowa City really has going for it. It feels like there's a community. When you have a community, you all support each other. You want to, see each other play live and get all your friends together, and support all the local bands. And I think that's really key to, staying motivated and to just have fun. It's find a community and embed yourself in it. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, it just comes down to like, really loving it and being willing to put in time. And if you're afraid to go on stage, find an open mic. Like that's how I got started. Like I never was a singer for a long time. And at a certain point I was just like, all right, like I'm just going to teach myself how to sing so I can sing myself, and so like just going to an open mic and there's opportunities to play where it's very low stakes, where if you mess up, it doesn't matter, but you have the chance to like improve and just play in front of people as much as you can. That's how you're going to get better.
Yeah, I would agree with what both these guys said. I mean, no one I think is really born with just that innate ability. Even the greatest like have to start somewhere. So just getting in front of people, low stakes environments. You can try to do like the imagination tricks. You know, you can visualize yourself somewhere else or something like that. But yeah,
You're right.
don't think.
This was maybe a thing I picked up from sports, but sometimes I'll do like the night before a show, I'll play the entire set in my head.
Yes, a lot of visualization.
Yeah, like picturing me playing the perfect set, and I'll go through song by song, you know. And it's like it's hard to get through the whole set. Your attention span falters, but like, you know, that's the can help.
Oh yeah,
and for just finding like-minded individuals that to play with live and stuff. I know that can be difficult as well, especially in a post-COVID world, I guess.
Because I think when we really came into our own, we were playing with a band called The Horse Theory in Cedar Rapids, and we probably played 4 or 5 shows with them, and it was just so fun every time playing with them because we were just big fans of each other, and you know, we brought out good crowds, and like it was it's fine. Like it wasn't like a rivalry, but it kind of was. Like we were both just doing cool stuff and just excited about it. So like, yeah, if you're in a band or a musician, find other people who are doing it and let those people inspire you.
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%. It's more like it's not a competition when it comes to like being in a band. I mean, you have to make friends at some point. So.
Yeah, and it's almost like, okay, if someone wrote a way cooler song than you, that's just inspiration for you to write something cooler. It's not like your song, you know, it's just like, it's just exciting to see like, oh, people are doing these things and I can do it too, you know?
Yeah, right on, for sure. That's how rock and roll works, man. You got to build up off of each other.
Yep.
For sure.
There's more building than tearing down, even though that's kind of the whole, you know, face of it all, you know, just anarchy and stuff like that, but.
Yeah, I think, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately here, guys, that is the end of our interview. Where can we find you guys, like, music-wise, and where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, at Maaaze Music on Instagram. That's with 3 A's, of course. And then, Maaaze on all the major platforms. So
we got some YouTube content that Dan and I put together, like sort of like a video collage set to the first Maaaze Volume 1, like a 3-song EP, and then we edited together like vintage archival footage that kind of goes along with the music and a couple live clips of us performing. So that's on YouTube, and and we are on Facebook, but you know, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, no Twitter.
We'll be in the metaverse soon enough. We'll just be virtual storefront.
Oh yeah. But yeah, for sure. All of that will be in the description, so we are definitely going to have to check you out.
Awesome.
But yeah, guys, you guys are awesome, super talented. I cannot believe you guys were on my show today. It's just been an honor. So thank you so much for being here.
We love the radio, and we love music. So thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely see you guys later in a future episode.
All right.
So
sick.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Great talking, mate.
Yep.
Peace, man.
Now will be today's episode of Music with Mason. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family and all of your loved ones out there, because they are definitely going to want to see this. So, Maaaze, you know, how about that? Maaaze, super awesome. They know how to influence, you know, they know how to like mix in, you know, like the simple rock and roll aspect, but they know how to mix in like their own little spin on things. And it's really nice to see these guys in action, and I cannot wait to have these guys on again in a future episode. If you guys enjoy this, please consider subscribing to my channel so you'll be notified of when all my other interviews come out. And of course, as always, we will see you guys next time.